Thank you, Presiding Officer. I want to start by thanking members for contributing to what's been a lively debate on an issue that I know that we all deeply care about. I've stressed in previous debates and sessions that this Parliament needs to be a public health Parliament where all parties come together to work jointly to tackle the key challenges for population health and well-being in Scotland. And I view the committee's inquiry and this debate as an important step in that process. Only by combining and strengthening our efforts will we be able to reverse the worrying trends in life expectancy and reduce health inequalities in Scotland. I will give way.
Craig Hoy.
I thank the Minister for reaching out and saying that across this Parliament we should all be focusing on policies. Does she therefore share my regret, and no doubt the regret of those watching at home, that a succession of her own backbenchers decided to get up and talk about policy rather than process? And does she not see that this constitutional smokescreen is wearing thin and hiding the SNP's failures?
Minister.
No, I don't agree at all. I have to say I find your tone during this debate, the members' tone during this debate, frankly astonishing. It's austerity denying. We've had evidence from academics in Scotland most recently, but right across the UK, that have laid absolutely bare the fact that those political choices made by the coalition government of the Conservatives on one side and the Lib Dems on the other in 2010 had the most devastating impact on our population in Scotland. And not only did it have a devastating impact immediately on our most vulnerable citizens, which I witnessed when I was working as a mental health pharmacist with people with severe and enduring mental illness, it is still having an impact. Life-shortening policies brought to us by the Tories and the Lib Dems, and complete denial from that side of the chamber today. We all acknowledge the impact of the pandemic. It has both shone a light on pre-existing inequalities and it has exacerbated them. It is my belief now that the scales have fallen from Scotland's eyes. We will not tolerate this injustice any longer. Poverty is the driver of health inequalities. Health inequalities, like other inequalities, are about an inequality in power, wealth and status. Yes, I will take an intervention.
Finlay Carson.
Well, thank you for taking the intervention. Well, maybe the Minister would comment on the inequalities that have been overseen by the SNP over the years. Inequality when it comes to rural health, the closure of our cottage hospitals and the downgrading of our maternity units that see people giving birth on the side of the road. That's your problem. That's your responsibility.
Perhaps somebody on the Conservative benches would like to explain why they supported the UK mini-budget, which wiped £64 billion off our economy in one day. If what you are asking me collectively is, do I think we could have spent that money better in the Scottish Government or in an independent Scotland? Absolutely. The answer is yes. Let me tell you about what we are doing in the Scottish Government to tackle child poverty.
Members.
As Fiona Hislop so eloquently set out, the appalling lifelong impact that poverty has on our children. In this financial year alone, we've allocated almost £3 billion through a range of measures which will help to mitigate the impact of the cost of living crisis on households. That includes supporting energy bills, childcare, health, travel, as well as social security payments that are neither available elsewhere in the UK or are more generous than elsewhere in the UK, such as the Scottish Child Payment and the Bridging Payment. The Scottish Child Payment has been further expanded to eligible 6 to 15-year-olds and increased in value to £25 per child per week, and around 400,000 children are potentially eligible. Now, all the Conservatives said they wanted to hear what the Scottish Government is doing to tackle poverty. I am setting out what we are doing to tackle poverty. In addition, we are supporting families in a variety of other ways, including massively expanding the provision of fully funded, high-quality early learning and childcare, free bus travel for under-22s, free school meals to around 145,000 pupils, and the Child Winter Heating Assistance. But let's listen to what the Child Poverty Action Group report notes. Scottish policies are making a major contribution to helping families over the cost of bringing up children, yet many of the factors causing families to risk deep poverty in the coming months and years are well beyond the Scottish Government's control. We will continue to urge the UK Government to use all of the powers at its disposal to tackle the cost of living crisis on the scale that's required, including access to borrowing, providing benefits. And so, no, I will not take another intervention from the Conservative benches. They are simply austerity denying, and they are absolutely refusing to listen to what the Scottish Government is doing to tackle poverty. Certainly.
Thank you, Minister.
Claire Adamson.
Does the Minister agree with United Nations poverty expert Philip Alston, who has compared the Conservative Party welfare policies to the creation of 19th century workhouses and warned that unless austerity ended, the UK's poorest people will face lives that are solitary, poor, nasty, brutish and short?
Minister.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And we have seen a number of times where the UK Government has had an opportunity to tackle poverty by increasing wealth and increasing welfare, increasing the pay that is given, that is earned by working parents, and instead it has taken the opportunity to punish poor people further. We have, yes, certainly.
Carol Mockin.
Thank you. I thank the Minister for taking an intervention. And she knows that we have a lot of agreement in this place. But what I would like to ask, given that you've just agreed to what extent people are living in, and we heard from other members such as Natalie Dawn, will the Government agree to do absolutely everything that they can to make sure that people do not continue to live like this? And will they take into account, and I hope it comes up in the budget tomorrow, some of the levers that the STUC have put forward that they could use?
In conclusion, Minister.
Absolutely. Our budget will be set out tomorrow by John Swinney, and I know how carefully he is considering the suggestions put forward by the STUC. But let me reiterate again, everything that we are doing with both hands tied behind our backs. Every additional percentage point on a pay deal, every pound that we spend on measures to deal with rising costs has to be funded from reductions elsewhere, given our largely fixed budget and our limited fiscal powers. Scotland is once again at the mercy of UK Government decisions, and that, to me and to many in this chamber and to many in this country, in this nation, absolutely reinforces the urgent need for independence.